morning time? Yeah, I've been up since like 4, so I'm feeling like it's already noon for me. But um, just got some thoughts on my mind as I've been kind of feeling the AI news in the cycle, news topics coming into the news cycle again. Sorry, learning how to speak this morning again. And kind of feeling like it's time to shift my tone and it's time to enter a new phase of this journey that we all are on with AI technology. And one of the things that's dawning on me fairly quickly, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that last year I said, as AI crept into our life seemingly quickly, but it was happening behind the scenes for years. But I saw the Google Music LM. I saw another thing called, I think it was called Music Bot or something like that. And I saw these like primitive early stages of AI music, generative music. And I thought, okay, sounds like this is something that's going to get really good really fast. And it doesn't sound good right now, but this is something that we're going to have to kind of like look at, pay attention to, because it's a potential threat, right? And it's just obvious, the writing's on the wall, that if this gets really good, what would stop TV and film clients from just basically taking one of these apps? And obviously, as you guys have known, Udio was the biggest one that sort of just went super viral the last couple of days. But Suno version 3 was another one about a month ago that started to make the rounds. And I've been receiving tons of emails and messages from all of you guys in the last couple of months about these. So I've been following them. I'm definitely playing with them. I know kind of what they're capable of. And even I, a year ago, who was saying here on YouTube, be careful, guys. I think this is going to move a lot faster than people think. And I was getting a lot of pushback from a lot of people saying, Jesse, you don't know what you're talking about. I got a friend in tech. It's going to be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. They'll never get to it. Music's so complex, it's so hard to do. We're just not going to get there. Go check out Udio or Suno, and you tell me how close we've gotten in 1 year. 1 year. We've got to the point where the music that these companies are making are pretty much commercial quality, definitely production music quality. You can still hear some artifacts, and it's not perfect, and it's not like the most amazing music you've ever heard in your life. But given it 1 year of development and 1 year of advancement, that's even faster than I thought. I thought we were 2 years, 2 to 5 years. I thought we'd get to where we are today. So it's ahead of my timeline about a year. But the reason why I'm a little bit more on pissed off mode right now with it all is the lack of transparency that we're getting from all these generative companies, specifically Suno and Udio. Go look at their websites. Don't take my word for it. If you can find out where they mention anywhere, even not even just on their website, but in an interview or anything, anywhere, where they let us know where they got their data, like what music they trained on, I'll give you $100 actually. That'll be just an open challenge for anybody. If you can find out, it has to be written down by them, it has to be from an authorized source, and they're publicly disclosing where they're getting their training data, I'll give you $100 if you can bring that to my attention, and I'll share it on my channel. I can't find it. And I'm gonna make a video on this and post it tomorrow with more in-depth analysis of it. But it's really interesting. I'm live right now. Mike, what's up? Mike, Callum, I'm live right now, so you guys might not know. Appreciate you guys joining me. We got about 20 of you guys here. The pattern I'm noticing is Udio, Suno, probably the two most impressive AI models. There's many out there, tons out there. They're the ones that are getting most of the attention because they're the highest quality, right? If you guys haven't played with them, like, you'll notice real quickly once you prime or you prompt something in, how good. Hey, what's up, Mark? Good to see you, man. How amazing the output of these models are for those two services. And coincidentally, they're not telling you where they're getting their data. Now, did they just plumb forget? Oh, whoops, we forgot to put that on our website. Dang, we had all the marketing, we had all the stuff, we had our terms of service, we had our end user license agreement, we even talk about copyrights, but we forgot to tell you guys where we got all the data that we trained it on. Not likely, right? They just forgot about it. Are they hiding the data source because they don't want to expose that to their competitors? I give that a higher probability. Don't think that's really what's happening, but that's an understandable omission, like why you're not going to basically just tell the whole world and all your competitors, by the way, here's where we're getting our data. Because who did do that was, what's it called? Stable Audio. Stable Audio 2.0. If you go to Stable Audio's Stability AI, go to their audio, generative model, right on their website. They don't make you look for it. It's not buried somewhere. It's right there on the main page. We licensed from Audio Sparks, which is like royalty-free stock licensing site, 800,000 tracks, and all the artists had the option to opt out if they didn't want to have their music trained on. That's what transparency looks like. I didn't have to look for it, didn't have to hunt for it. They tell me exactly where they're getting it from. And again, we should also question that. Don't take anybody's word for this. That's kind of the point of where I'm getting at with this. It's not that I'm anti-AI. I'm still positive and pro-AI. But I think the time for curiosity was last year up until now. I'm just speaking for myself. If you guys want to, follow along, probably some of you guys have already been there. But right now I'm in battle mode, which is questioning everything. Pushing back, not just buying propaganda, not just buying, oops, we didn't disclose our data, don't worry about it kind of thing. I'm just not doing that anymore. So I'm putting out quite a few videos in the next couple of weeks on my channel, pushing back against a lot of this nonsense that's going out there. And it's not so much that I'm mad at the companies doing it, because I think we're in the Wild West. Apologize if my thoughts and my rant here is a little bit scattered. It's just all in my head, and I felt like this is a great way for me to kind of start to get my thoughts out in real time. You guys can be in on this, and it'll help me, I think, as I'm making my videos coming forward. But we're in this sort of untested territory when it comes to copyright law, because all these companies, Udio, Suno in particular, and others too, Soundful, there's a couple others, who are not disclosing their data, are likely, don't know for sure, but I would say likely training on copyrighted data and not asking for consent and not paying anybody for it. But they're just using AI technology to train off of a lot of music that's protected by copyright. Again, I have to be careful as well. I don't want any lawsuits thrown at me, so I'm not going to accuse people of doing things that I don't know 100% that they're doing. But you guys can read between the lines. We all probably know what likely could be happening with these companies that are generating music that sounds just like the major artists that we all love, right? I spent an afternoon prompting those two websites. I already heard Eminem pretty much in a lot of the tracks. I heard Little John's voice. I basically got an Imagine Dragons sound-alike song. I got a Blink-182 sound-alike song. I've heard tracks that sound just like No Effects coming out of it. Are these algorithms looking at royalty-free public domain music or like sheet music and like coming up with this amazing high quality top 40 music? Come on, guys. No, it's probably not what's happening there, right? The quality of the data is probably determining more than anything. But these companies that are doing this and not sharing where they're getting their data are hoping that they're going to get away with the fair use excuse. The fair use clause in copyright law basically states that it's kind of like what you and I do, right? When we go listen to the Beatles and we get inspired, we go write our music, and we're probably inspired directly by the Beatles, right? We can't copy their melodies, we can't copy their lyrics exactly, we can't copy, it's a subjective thing, but there are lawsuits and copyright infringement cases and all that kind of stuff when you step too closely on the toes of the people that you've learned from. We all understand that. And they're thinking that an AI model is going to follow the same laws, and the same laws will be applied to an AI model that are applied to you and I. I'm not going to take that bet. I don't think that's a smart bet to take, and I'll tell you why. While it's true, there's basically three elements to this argument. And again, this is going to be a video I'm going to put out a more detailed explanation on. Number one, one thing that is in common between you and I and an AI robot algorithm is, yes, we can train, quote unquote, train and be inspired by the music of others, right? So I can go listen to anything right now on YouTube or Spotify or anywhere and go like, man, that's an amazing song, and I want to make something like that. It happens to me all the time. Like, I just get inspired by somebody else's track, or in production music, I talk about reference tracks. That's basically what we're doing every single day in our life, right? So it's what we do. It's what AI music algorithms do. They don't necessarily spit out the exact same music that they train off of, but they just take the sort of relationships. I don't know, I'm not a tech expert, but they're learning from how this music was created to generate its own following the sort of formulas that it learned from all the music. And again, the higher the quality of the formulas and the more catchy and interesting the lyrics and all that kind of stuff that really informs what makes high quality music versus low quality music is what this AI algorithm will then learn as its new rules to generate its own generative music, right? So that's what's in common between us. Okay, fair use applies to both of those, right? Second one that applies to both, copyright infringement. So if you and I write a song and it's like literally stepping on the toes of a Beatles song, we're gonna get our asses sued. We all understand copyright law protects that. We're all good to go. Secondly, if an AI model, like if Suno or Udio, generates something that's literally like an Eminem song, or takes a hook from his or something like that, and somebody puts it out there, yeah, that company or that user can be sued, even though it's created by an AI, for copyright infringement, because it's like, hey, you basically ripped off somebody else's track. So both of them could be covered under the current copyright law. So 2 out of 3, we're great. Here's where the difference comes in, and here's where I hope, and also I think that there's a solid case to be made why the copyright law is going to need to be updated. Scale. That's the big difference, right? You and I, if I go listen to Eminem or the Beatles, how many songs can I crank out in a day that sounds like the Beatles? Let's say, original music, original lyrics, original melody, original all that stuff. But what I create is following in the style. Like if you heard my song, you're like, yeah, I could definitely see that's kind of like, that's Beatles-ish, right? But it's not theirs, and it's definitely Jesse's. But yeah, that's kind of like Beatles. How many of those tracks can I do in a day? Hey, Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda. One, right? I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. That's if I'm really productive on a day. Now, if you're a prolific songwriter and you've got some crazy, amazing system, maybe you could do 2 full songs in a day. But that would be including like writing it and recording it. Like in the same way how an AI model can literally, you can take the prompt, it'll create the song and spit it out mixed and mastered for you in 30 seconds, right? So we'd have to kind of compare ourselves to that. How much could we do in a single 24-hour period? 1 song, 2 songs at the most, right? So me learning from the Beatles or from Eminem and being subject to those fair use and copyright laws, and then generating something on the output of it, I can generate 1 song a day, maybe 2 songs. So can I disrupt an entire industry by doing that? No, right? I can't take over, let's say, stock music. I can't become the solution for all of the world's needs of stock music because I can only generate 1 song a day, 2 songs a day. That's why we have this reasonable fair use agreement where it's like, yeah, you can get inspired by other artists. We're all inspired by everybody. There's nothing really, quote unquote, 100% original. But the fact that you're not taking away from, harming the original copyright owner, you can keep doing that. Switch over to an AI model. How much can an AI model output in a day? Is it 1 or 2? Nope. It's infinite, right? So you have the same model that could be used, because it's a digital copy of itself essentially, can be used by basically virtually an infinite number of users generating infinite amounts of music every single day. So it just has to train on the Beatles catalog once, and then it can create unlimited amounts of Beatles-like music for the rest of eternity. That's a different scale than human beings, okay? And so when the copyright laws and the fair use laws were created, they had no concept of this technology being something they'd have to think about. They were literally just applying these laws to human beings with human capabilities, and they knew humans can only create a little bit at a time. Maybe they didn't consciously think about this. They didn't think that we would have this superhuman technology, this magic technology in the future that would literally be able to train off of 1 catalog and create infinite amounts of music on the other end of it. That's why my money is going to be placed on copyright laws are going to get amended. I don't think they're going to be they don't have to be radically changed. I think it literally just has to be amended because of the scale issue with the amount of output that these models can do. It's not apples to apples. We can't compare human beings to an AI algorithm when the scale is literally infinite to 1 track a day. That's what we're comparing it to. So why is the same law applying to both of them? That wouldn't make any sense. And let's all remember, why do we have laws? Like, why do we have a copyright law system? Why do we have any of these laws, right? Just to follow abstract principles that we want to make sure that we're sticking to our principles? No. These laws are to serve us. Like, these laws are to serve society and to make sure that we have a functioning society where there's a general feeling, nothing's perfect, but a general feeling that there's fairness or justice or an ability for you to create something intellectually and maintain some exclusive rights over that. That's what this is really all about. And so I've heard other people, I've been hearing some podcasts who are like, well, fair use, I think they're going to get away with it. It's like, we're not here to just hold on to abstract principles because that's what the abstract principle was. If the abstract principle is literally destroying human creativity, it's time to update that law. Okay, laws can be changed, and they will. I do honestly believe. Part of this is certainly wishful thinking. I'll be honest. I have a bias towards, as many of you guys do, towards holding on to our creative, fruits of our labor and all that kind of stuff. But I think it could be an easy case to be made that we are not going to be holding on to the same fair use principles when it comes to an AI model. So that's the one thing that's been kind of bothering me. Let me check out some of your guys' comments as I take a little break on this thought. Mike, I remember you were saying this before. I'm also in the film and games industry. It's getting bad for all artists. Software don't really care. They're accepting it and integrating it. Yeah, their jobs aren't really going anywhere because the humans will be needed for the worst part of development, bug catching. Okay. And Pearl's asking, are you worried about apps like Suno to be taking over a lot of your work? Um, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I am pro AI though, still through all this, but we the reason why I'm kind of changing my tone a little bit more and being less about like, oh, openness and curiosity, I think I hold on to that as well. But as these tech companies come into our space, like that's what it feels like, that they're coming into the music world and going like, oh, let me take all of that. Literally, that's how it feels. I mean, I don't even have my music on Spotify. My music's in production music libraries, but you know that they're on the radar, right? It's not like they're like, we're just gonna look at Spotify. They're looking anywhere they can get data. All these tech companies are doing the same thing right now. They're just looking for anywhere they can find available and free data with or without consent, right? They're just trying to get as much data as possible. So if we don't push back on this and we don't start speaking up and we don't start making our voices heard, that you're going to, if you're going to train off of our model, first of all, no one-time fees are ever going to be accepted. The stock licensing sites took those deals because they probably thought that they were on their way out, which maybe they're right about that. And they thought, hey, let's take one big final huge check from these major tech companies and retire. And they might have made the right move there because maybe AI generative music, the sort of generic kind of background music, will become the better use or the better solution for people who have smaller budgets who still need music in their backgrounds of their videos and podcasts and that kind of thing. So, you know, the Pon5s, Shutterstocks, Audio Sparks, they might have made the right choice for them and their business model. They knew that they're on their way out. This is a much more efficient competitor, and the competitor is basically paying them. I don't know how big these contracts are, assuming millions of dollars, and they're like, let's take one big payday before we're out of business, right? That might be the right move for them. So I don't know. But as they come into, you know, trying to snoop around production music library catalogs, which may or may not already been happening, probably has been happening. I think we, as people who are involved with production music libraries or library owners, some of you may be watching our library owners, need to think of yourselves and all of us as revenue share partners with these companies. Because think about this, Suno and Udio AI, how amazing are those AI apps without high quality music that they've trained off of? What do you guys think? Do you think these AI algorithms just come up with music on their own and they're just that smart? They obviously got to get trained on something. Do you think these models are, do you think that's like the reason why these two models are particularly so good is because their algorithms are that much advanced? It's hard for me to say. I'm not an expert behind the scenes, but look at the differences between ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. Do you see massive, oh my gosh, incredible, ridiculously different outputs from them? Not really. Some are better, some are worse. They probably have pros and cons in different ones, but they're generally kind of hovering in the same area. I don't think we have this massive discrepancy on like some AI algorithms are just way better than others. They're probably all more or less competitive. So what's the difference? Why are some of them generating better output than others? It's data. Guys, we're in a gold, I think to me it's obvious, we're in a gold rush of data. So if we don't want to be completely outsourced and we don't want to like supply our own, you know, demise in our own competition, we should see ourselves as saying, if you want to train on our high quality music and you need our talent and you need our intellectual property and our copyrighted data, you're going to pay us out as you train off of it forever. We are now your revenue share partners. Congratulations. Shake our hand. And if you don't want to do that, best of luck. Go find some music somewhere else. But at least you know, we don't have a union, so it's hard to like make everybody agree to this. But that's where it seems to be like where we need to value ourselves and demand. Like if we're gonna play this game, okay, we've seen what you guys do in the past. You guys don't have high regard for copyright and for people's rights. And we're not doing a one-time fee. Like that's just us basically signing our own death warrant. We're not doing that. So if you want to use our music to make your algorithm much higher quality, maybe. And if we say yes to that, that means we're going to extend our income with your AI algorithm while also maintaining our own business model with our human created music. So using it, again, going back to my kind of pro AI vision of the future, seeing it as an expansion of our income, use cases as opposed to a replacement. But that only comes if we speak out, right? That only comes if library owners say no to one-time payments and only accept deals that are going to be revenue share models with these companies and saying, listen, we're at least, my point of view is we're at least 50-50 partners with you guys. AI companies might laugh in your face and you're like, good luck. Go find some high quality music. Not when they don't count on us then. We know how valuable our content is. We know how valuable you need high quality data. And if we've got an amazing catalog of music that would really make your model much more impressive, pay up. It requires that. And so I'm not guaranteeing we're going to win this battle. I have no idea. But you can guarantee I'll go out swinging. Like, I'm not going out going, well, I guess I'll give it. I've heard some people with this kind of black pill tone in their voice in their comments like, well, they'll get whatever they want. They always win. And what's the point? You might as well move on to something else. Unsubscribe, please. Like, if you feel that way, I don't want those. I need soldiers with me. I need people that are actually going to speak up, at least fight, at least try, guys. Come on. We have to, this is our livelihood. This is our music. This is a really big deal. I want people that are at least trying, right, to put up at least a good fight with this kind of thing. And it's not that I want to be combative with these companies. I want to potentially be partners with them. But people only respect you when you demand that they respect you, right? If you just roll over, then you're telling them that they can just roll all over you and just take your content and do whatever they want to do with it. So as you can tell, it's been something that's been on my mind lately, a bit upset about it all. But I think talking about it, just being honest about it, and trying to reach out. I'm reaching out to a lot of people right now, trying to get some interviews on my channel. We'll see if I can get anybody. But let me get into some of your comments. Thank you guys for being here and hanging out with me on a Sunday morning. B-Rad is saying, haven't seen much copyright discussions here regarding sync in itself can get confusing, especially when trying to create several songs per week and shoot out the libraries. Yeah, that's one thing I'm getting a little bit bummed out on. I see a lot of people, not a lot, but I've seen a few people, even just on LinkedIn and just in general, saying that they are the AI music experts, and they're just passing along propaganda from AI companies. And I'm like, did you read what you just posted? Like, have you looked into why are these really quote unquote ethical companies? Have you looked at their websites to see if they're being transparent about their data? There's another company called Fairly Trained. Anyways, we'll get into that later. I don't want to keep going on my rants. Let me check out some of your comments. Juhani, neural network-based generative AI does not create anything new. It makes endless combinations of existing things, but it seems only new because we don't know what it's been trained on. No, they're making new tracks. Juhani, go check out those generative models. They will sound like artists that you've heard, right? So that kind of gives you a clue as to where they're training their data. But they're new songs, like it's new lyrics, new melodies, new chord progressions. I mean, I don't know if there's any such thing as new chord progressions, but you'll get something that you haven't heard before. They are generating new music. When you say new, maybe you're talking about like original or something like that. So, there's probably an argument to be made there that human beings are going to be the ones that push creative bounds in unique ways. But AI models will also push creative bounds. They'll be able to generate, there was a one I saw from, I think it was Udio. Somebody prompted in like, give me a musical about the movie Dune. And so I don't think that's ever existed before. And it was like this Broadway jazz kind of ridiculous song with lyrics about the movie Dune in it. So that's creative. You've never heard that before. So no, you will hear new music. That's not true. Greg saying, wait, it didn't destroy creativity. It just makes it hard to compete. Yeah, things will be all right. Well, people are struggling with their creativity. I have had moments of like when I hear these things, especially as I'm getting into songwriting myself, hearing what literally prompting in something and getting an output that quickly, it's like, why am I struggling so hard? Why am I spending days and weeks working on a song when I can just prompt it in? Like, oh, I'm having those thoughts and feelings too, for sure. Now, I'm not going to be, what's the point of prompting in a song and getting it out? Like, there's no joy in that. The joy is the surprise. It's the journey, right? It's the creative process is actually the payoff. So using a prompt, thing like that, it sort of robs you of all your joy. So I know most of you guys would probably agree with me on that one, but, JI saying maybe they would put responsibility to the users and state do not ask for impersonation, etc. I don't think that will hold though. Yeah, I don't think so either. Crunk Monkey, or is it Crank Monkey? I don't know what it is, but I've been mulling the idea that intellectual property laws and the increasing litigiousness of the music industry is contradictory to increasing awareness of consciousness being universal and ideas not belonging to us. I wonder whether these new thinkers will turn the philosophy of intellectual property in a good way. Yeah, you're kind of talking about like next level, moving past copyright law. Are we there right now? I don't think we are, but I do think in the long run we probably will be going there, because we will have a lot more abundant resources just in general. So the idea of limited exclusive rights on particular pieces of intellectual property will become outdated. But I don't think we're there right now in 2024. But yeah, you're thinking much more long term. I think you got a point there for sure. You ever look at an old building and wish we still made architecture like that now? Yes, I actually do think that a lot. That's where we're going with digital content. Nothing will have soul or attention to detail. A large chunk of it for sure. But at the same time, Calium R90, I'm not impressed with a lot of what Hollywood's coming out with right now, and a lot of that's done with human beings. So just a fair turnaround point there. Not everything made by humans is great. Um, Mike, you're with me. All right, cool. Source 4. AI should pay us royalties. There needs to be an algorithm to develop that monitors your music to see how it's been sampled and analyzed. That's the big $1 million question. From let's see, AI data scientists that I've talked to and interviewed and put on my channel, that's not possible, because it's kind of like asking you when you put out your next piece of production music. It's like me asking you, hey, Source 4, where did you get the melody for that? Which specific 10 tracks did you subconsciously somewhere in your mind pull up to create that melody? Can you do that? Probably not, unless we were like consciously ripping something off. But most of the time, it's just a bunch of data, and history, and just a history of listening to music in our brains. And then we are sort of spitting that out in this sort of weird, interesting way. And that's kind of what AI neural nets are doing. We don't really know. We can't trace things. As far as what I've been told by the experts, they can't trace it. There is one company claiming that they do have something that can trace it, and I need to find out more how that's possible, if that's possible. Again, I'm not believing anything from anybody right now. It's all propaganda. That's how I see it. Everything is potential propaganda, and we need to be much more. We need to scrutinize things. We need to question things. We just need to not buy anything anybody's saying. I don't care who is saying they're an AI expert. They got an AI app. They got an AI this or that. Good for you. I need to look into it myself. I need to find out exactly what's going on, or at least do my own due diligence, because I'm just not buying anything. With the amount of, I feel, disregard happening out there for the rights of musicians, yeah, I'm kind of I'm at the end of my rope with just sort of like believing what people are saying about it. All right, Brody. Hey, glad you're on the side. Not sure if you've really changed your mind. This is always trying to exploit us. At least to me, it always goes one way. Um, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't put like black and white. Usually, we're usually the reality of anything is never black and white. Like, I don't think every AI music company is trying to destroy our way of life. I don't think so. I think they're experimenting and they're gambling a little bit with their business models, because this has not been solved yet and it hasn't been settled legally. But there will be a good chunk of this that, imagine this, guys. Like, imagine a future where not only do you continue to, secure whatever placements you get with your human created music using AI tools to allow TV and film and music supervisors to find your music better, but also licensing your music to an AI company, and then every month receiving an extra, $250, $500, maybe $1,000, because their user base was using a chunk of your music, and you're cutting a specific share, revenue share of that company. So now you just have a new source of income on top of what you were doing already with your human created music. Does that sound like a horrible future for all of us? To me, it doesn't. It sounds like an expansion. And the AI companies win because they have a new business model. They can definitely earn. Like, they're developing the technology. Absolutely, get paid, guys. Like, get yourself paid for sure. But respect the people that are helping you get paid. You did not create that music. You didn't go through the training and the years of pain and effort to create high quality music yourself. You just literally pointed your vacuum over at all of our music and went, all right, we'll take all that and we'll start making. No. But again, if we don't, like, this thought, Brody, when he said it always goes one way, black pill thinking, I can't deal with that. Like, I'm just saying, I just won't tolerate that. I will not admit defeat before the battle has begun. The battle's just getting started, guys. We don't even have a court ruling yet on whether or not AI models training on data that's publicly available is fair use or not. We don't have anything. We don't have like day one on this battle. And some people are already throwing in the white flag. I don't want to pick on you, but I'm just saying, that's not me. I'm fighting. I'm going to push back. I'm going to definitely question. I'm going to scrutinize. And this is the only way you're going to gather respect or demand respect from anybody who's coming in your lane and potentially disrupting you. You're going to have to show them, we're not the guys that just roll over and say, whatever, you guys always get your way. At least not me. Just speaking for myself. Hopefully, some of you guys, I think a lot of you guys, hopefully, are on that same wavelength. And most importantly, not us, but like our production music library owners, because they're the ones that really control great high quality numbers of tracks in their catalog. So we obviously need to spread the word. So my job, essentially, in what I'm doing here, is making you guys aware, I think, of this, so that you can start talking to your library owners. And then across the board in our industry, we can kind of just get smarter about all this and not believe propaganda, because that's definitely what we're going to be getting fed from a lot of companies in the coming months and years. So Mark's saying he agrees wholeheartedly, but I feel like this makes you want to quit because it's getting harder than you're in the wrong industry. Oh, but I also feel like if this makes you want to quit because it's getting harder, then you're in the wrong industry. Yeah, I mean, it's both sides of that, Mark. Yeah, there's definitely a time and place for everybody to probably decide maybe sync isn't the right move. This might be one for some people, but I also know that there are people that are really doing great in this business that are also feeling disheartened, and they're questioning, should they keep going? And I'm never one to tell you you should or shouldn't. I don't have your concerns. Everybody's at a different stage in life, different responsibilities with families, and whether you're closer to retirement or you're younger, there's all these different considerations. So everybody has to make their own decision. But yeah, there's long before AI, there were plenty of reasons to give up on sync. So if this is just the sort of straw that breaks the camel's back, which I know for some of you, many of you that I've heard from, it is. I never give anybody shame for that. I never call you a quitter, nothing like that. It's hey, I wish you the best. These are tough times. These are uncharted waters, and all I can do is say, that AI thing. Let's say it's that guitar right there. That is an iceberg way out in the ocean. Now, is that iceberg going to sink us? Are we going to be able to maneuver it? Are we going to be able to, chop it up, turn it into ice cubes for our drinks? Is it going to make our experience on this cruise better? Is it going to kill us all? That's the kind of thing where I don't know, guys. I really don't know, but I want to make sure that I'm honest to let you guys know that's there. It's literally there. That's what I basically told you guys a year ago. It's there. Yeah, it looks really small back then. Let's go back a year. It looks tiny. It's this tiny little thing. What are you worried about, Jesse? Oh my gosh, that music is terrible. It could never replace us. 1 year later, okay? Hate to say I told you so, but this is what exponential technology can do. It'll move things moving through computer chips way faster than our brains can comprehend. Our brains work on a linear pace. Technology like this moves at an exponential. Our brains just are not designed for this. That's why it's going to continuously catch us by surprise over and over again moving into the future. So you think things are moving fast now? Wait till you see where we are in 1 more year from today. All right. Leandro, paying or not, I guess they will always find good music to train off of. So disruption is inevitable at some point, but getting paid, of course, is better. I don't know about that, because even if we don't have a union, it's in all of our collective interest to not put ourselves out of business. Whereas the stock licensing sites probably knew that they were about to go out of business, so they're just thinking, let's just take a big check before it's all over. So you might get a couple of production music libraries that take the one-time fee, but I don't know if you're going to get all of them. And I don't know if you're going to get the super high-quality ones and the big, massive ones like a BMG, a Universal. Having them say yes to that kind of thing seems very, very unlikely. So they'll get their hands on something for sure. But in terms of the really, really good, high-quality production music libraries and the ones that are massive and huge, I don't know. We don't have to have a union for us all have to have the collective interest. It's like unspoken. Like, do any of us really want to go out of business? No. Okay. So just don't accept that deal. Make sure that you're a revenue share with these companies if they want to come and train off your catalog, right? And Brody's saying, I'm not even convinced AI companies are even experts. A lot of them, yeah, they don't really understand too much about what's going on either. Especially the CTO of OpenAI. If you guys saw that interview, boy, that was embarrassing. There's better ways to make money. Yeah, absolutely. No happens with AI. We will always keep making music. So focus on making music that matters and connects with people. Make the music that you have to make. Yeah, that's a great point, Mark. I totally agree with that. The days of generic background cues have been numbered a long time. AI is just speeding it up. Yeah, it's definitely been on the decline for a while. Will, what's up, Will? Will's my buddy, actually, here locally. We hang out. Hey, buddy. Thank you so much. Hope you have a good day, man. Hey, Signature. Good to see you. Zach. We should speak up. We can make still make use of AI. Perhaps there should be a law to prevent any company to use AI alone unless there's a legit human artist input. So it's not solely AI. Yeah, I don't know about that one, but there is a law that just was proposed to force, here out of California actually, to force all AI models to have to show their work. This is something that I was thinking would be a great idea about a year ago. And it will require, it hasn't passed yet, but it will, if it does get passed, will require Suno, Udio, OpenAI, Google, everybody that has generative AI models that does text, audio, video, or pictures to have to register with the Library of Congress the specific data that they trained on. And I think it's like within 30 days of launching it. And it will apply to retroactive models that are already on the marketplace. So don't know if it's going to actually get passed. I think there's a good chance it will, but we're still waiting, I guess, on that that just fair use ruling. We need a fair use ruling to say yes, AI models can do this in fair use, or no, they are violating copyright law. Because if they get a no, then we have a whole new can of worms. Because even if US companies basically are forbidden from doing that, does that mean that companies in China or open source models all over the world that can't be necessarily individually traced to a company are going to respect that? Probably not, right? So then, I haven't even thought about that yet, but that's on my mind as well. So this is, again, we have not even started the battle. It is just getting started. So please, guys, don't give up yet. We have not, and even if we lose it, go out, swing it, guys. We'll never have regrets if we really, really at least speak up and fight for this and do our best to really look out for our collective interests with each other. I don't think we'll have any regrets doing that, regardless of the outcome. At least I won't, for sure. Boosta, 100% behind me, right on, man. I've always spoken to my library owners and have forwarded your channel interviews that you've done so far. They have been interested to know more. Keep it going. Awesome. Appreciate that, man. If you guys want to forward this live stream to your library owner, this is the most pertinent stuff that we should be thinking about right now. I put out a poll on my channel the other day asking you guys, hey, AI music is kind of popping up again in a serious way. Should I do all of my videos for the foreseeable future about AI, some of them, or none of them? Most of you guys said some. Don't focus 100% on them. And I will do that. I won't only talk about AI, but I got to tell you, it's really hard to just be like, all right, well, here's this massive, huge problem potential. And then let's just keep talking about this sort of standard bread and butter sync licensing topics. When, again, iceberg, guys, iceberg, iceberg, iceberg. So it's just feeling a little bit like I have a responsibility to keep my eye on this stuff, for better or worse, wherever it goes. I just don't feel good about not keeping you guys as informed as I possibly can. And if you guys come across somebody who's talking about this stuff, it maybe doesn't have to specifically be about production music or just whatever, but somebody who's informed about AI, is a musician themselves, and is basically keeping their eye on this stuff, a YouTube or a podcast, let me know. Put in the chat right now if you know somebody, or email me, because as I'm hearing more and more people talk about this and podcasts talking about this, I'm like, okay, you're missing it. You're not understanding it. You haven't done any research. You don't understand AI at all. I don't understand it basically at all, but you definitely understand it less than I do. And I'm like, I can't be the guy. Like, I can't be the guy that's like asking the right questions about this and the most suspicious about this. There's got to be somebody else. Come on, please tell me there's somebody else. It's got to be out there. So please let me know, because if you guys know of somebody, I would like to connect with them. I'd like to follow them myself, maybe interview them, have them on the channel. But it's just like I'm feeling this pull again. I felt it last year when it came up, and I was like, okay, I have to say something. A lot of people I was looking around, a lot of people were burying their head in the sand, but last year they were like, that music sucks. Don't worry, guys. It'll never, if you can't compete with computer music, boy, maybe you shouldn't be making music to start with. It's like, people were burying their head. That's how I interpret it. People were burying their heads in the sand, pretending like it wasn't going to be a problem. And I was like, nope, definitely going to be a problem. And here we are a year later. Problem, right? Problem is here. So now, we kind of need to switch modes. So I need to know if you guys know of anybody else that's kind of into this stuff, because, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if I start another podcast or do something, but it's like there needs to be some outlet where there's just a constant source of like updating us with our 100% bias exposed. Like, I'm not going to pretend I don't have a bias. I have a bias. I'm a music creator. I'm a songwriter. I'm a content creator, and I value what I put into my effort and into my art. and I know you guys do as well. And that's my bias. I will 100% side with that bias over an AI company, over outdated copyright laws. And I'll be just honest about that. That's my bias, and that's where I want to go with this kind of stuff. And again, at least fight like hell. If we're gonna go down, you'll catch me swinging all the way down. So, Bob saying fairness applies among humans. Humans owe nothing whatsoever to algorithms, and we should amend the copyright laws in any way that works for human creativity, up to including suppression of AI. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with the suppression of AI, but I do agree on if you're going to use human creation, human work, human art, human videos, human pictures, whatever, and create your for-profit company out of it, you're going to cut us in on it. So we're not suppressing the AI, but if we must, by law or whatever, we have to be put into a revenue share business agreement with these companies, yep, absolutely. So I don't know if I agree on the suppression of technology. I've never been a fan of that. But respect, that's definitely what I think needs to be in the equation, which I'm not seeing right now. Respect, transparency, and consent. Those are the three hallmarks right now that we need more of. Mike saying, I don't really get the pushing back you're referring to. Can you briefly explain? Feel like I have been explaining that in the last hour, but if it's not clear, AI generative models like Suno, like Udio, like a lot of these other ones that are not publicly disclosing where they're getting their data, pushing back against that. I'll be putting out videos, making live streams like this, saying, where are you getting your data, guys? Why aren't you talking about it? If you feel like you're on solid legal grounds, wouldn't you say it, right? Stable Audio did. They told us where they got their data because they know that they paid for it. But why are these companies not doing it? So that's what I mean by pushing back. I'm seeing a lot of people who are in the AI space just making videos about these new, I won't mention any names, but some of the bigger content creators, even here on YouTube, who talk about AI, they'll put out videos, goes, guys, check out this new cool app. It's called Udio. You can make your own tracks. Check this out. This is amazing. Ha ha ha. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, these companies are all potentially committing a massive copyright fraud. And content creators are just sharing their links out and going, yeah, check it out. You guys go try it. And I'm like, you don't know what that feels like to be a musician, right? To be a musician, that feels like somebody's just literally taking your soul and they're making a profit. And then you got these kind of like content creators or AI experts just throwing out links to companies. Hey, check it out. This is amazing. Look what it could do. Of course it's amazing. Where to get its data? That's what I mean by pushing back, not just getting excited about the technology. It is exciting. It's amazing what it could do, but scrutinizing it and pushing back against the hype of it and really seeing underneath, trying to look for, at least asking for, probing for underneath the hood, where'd you get your data? Really impressive algorithm. It's nothing without really great data. So thanks, Mark. Glad you checked in, man. And I'm going to hop off here in just a minute, guys. I got to get back home. Kevin, yeah, suppression of AI isn't going to be happening. Too much money is involved. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's suppression happening, but lawsuits and legal restraints and laws that are going to require them to comply, absolutely. That's definitely coming one way or another. We'll see how that kind of comes. So, always appreciate your forward-looking eye. I sometimes get ads about getting into voiceover, voice acting. We're very curious, anxious, how quite vulnerable industry looking at the iceberg. Yeah, I honestly wouldn't. Voiceover stuff right now, AI, I mean, the writing's on the wall that is going to be done, if not already. So AI is sounding so good right now with the voice cloning stuff that, you could try for sure. I'm not saying don't get into it, but that's kind of like stock licensing stuff, I think, right now. And I think you're going to have, unless you have a well-known voice, like you're a celebrity or something like that, like Morgan Freeman, I just don't know if there's a real viable marketplace for that. Lars tried to stop MP3s. He was a fool. Did he try to stop MP3s? I think he was trying to stop more of the file sharing, wasn't he? I don't know if he was more like MP3s as a technology. I can't imagine he would be that ignorant, but maybe he was. So we'll do Vince and Kevin's comment, and then I'll hop off. What do you make of the AI model collapse problem, where supposedly without the continual input of human content, the models train more and more on their own AI-generated data and eventually go haywire? Yeah, I've heard about this. I don't know anything about it. I don't know I'd probably have to talk to a data scientist to confirm that or to find out a little bit more about that. I don't understand it, but the idea is that you train it once and then you have it just training on its own output over and over again, and it starts to sort of degrade. Don't know if that's true. I've definitely seen some articles claiming that that's true, but I don't really know. If that is true, then for sure we have even more value, right? Because they can't just train on our content once and be set for life. They're going to need to continuously come back to the new human created content to update their model. So again, it's like, oh, you want more? Cool. let's pump up the revenue share, right? So something for me to definitely get more informed upon. I studied AI back in the early 90s. I was working with what's NN? I don't know what that is. Is that not native instruments? And audio filters EQ, and was amazed at the results back then. Once you have trained the NN with copyright material, it's too late. The data has been absorbed already. Too late. Okay. I'm not sure what that is referring to. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Neural networks. Got it. Okay. Well, but yeah, in the 90s, they were pretty neural nets. Yeah. One way, whatever. Kind of same thing. So, anyways, more videos are coming out this week and next week. It is going to be probably an AI month. So, sorry if you guys are not into this stuff. You don't have to watch it. I have to say this stuff. I have to push back. I have to make some noise about this kind of stuff and to kind of get the awareness. Like the only thing, if we can't control much of anything in life, we can control our information about this, right? We can get smarter about it and we can know what's at stake as the AI revolution is starting to come above the surface of the water. Now we can feel it, right? Last year it was under the water. It's like, okay, it's sort of getting better, but it's not quite there. And it's right here. You can feel it. It came right through the surface with these two models. And now it's really time to get serious about this kind of stuff. So, Mike saying, when a musician uses the same chords as a famous song, nothing happens, but you want AI to do it? Yeah, I'm not sure about. Yeah, so Busta, you're asking like, what can we do to push back? Like I said before, if you're with a product music library, start talking to them about this stuff. Send them literally this live stream. I know it's long now, so sorry. I mean, I will have some shorter videos this week. If there's one this week that you feel like, okay, that would be really helpful for my library to know. Probably the one tomorrow. Honestly, the one tomorrow is like a 10-minute video, 13-minute video. That one will be a good one for you guys to share. Just start getting informed about this kind of stuff. If my videos help you do that, great. Read articles, but don't believe anything because everybody's BSing and omitting a lot of stuff right now. And that's what we need to kind of be like, no, not good enough. You're not sharing where your data is coming from. Sorry, don't trust you, don't believe it. And we need to wait for these like laws to basically come into place. So I'd say the thing right now is, get educated and just don't believe any hype you hear because who knows who's telling the truth right now. I think a lot of things are going on behind the scenes with these companies and they're just not being honest and forthright about it. So, all right, thanks guys. Thank you so much for letting me rant. This definitely helped me process my thoughts, get them a little bit more out there in a clear way, and help me make some better videos for you guys this coming week. So have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you guys for a great video tomorrow. Hopefully you guys enjoy.